Hello, everyone. Happy March 2019. My name is Yolanda, and I am the founder of The Energetic Alchemist and the podcast Reiki Radio. So why I am here today is to talk about this beautiful March energy that we are now in. And it's very different than the Aquarian energy that we have moved out of, because now we are entering the sign of Pisces, who is more of the dreamer. It's more poetic, it's more intuitive energy. And we have Mercury going retrograde, of course, so that makes it even more, we'll say, interesting this month. So let's start out with what is going on with us in relationship to the universe and the energies that may be felt by us, so that we can navigate it all with some more clarity, awareness, and understanding. So first up, like I said, we have moved out of the Aquarian energy and we are in the thick of Pisces season. And Pisces often makes me think of healers and dreamers. Again, it's very poetic energy and it's all about connection. So if you look at the zodiac and we start in Aries, I think of that energy as us just identifying ourselves or re-identifying ourselves in this physical realm. And we work through the archetypes of the different signs and we land in the end in Pisces. So Pisces is where we start to dissolve the illusion of separation. So when we think of this energy, we can also think about empaths and how we are all in this sea of oneness, our interconnectedness, and how there really is no separation between us. The physicality of it all, what seems to separate us is in part illusion. And so Pisces reminds us of that. And it is why we can feel each other, why you can walk into the room and feel tension in the room, why you can see someone in particular in your life and just light up and feel happy and feel radiance from that person. It's also why we sometimes can be around someone or in a certain environment and then walk away feeling much different than we did before. And if you really examine that, you probably are starting to mirror the emotion or energy that you felt in the presence of that person or the environment. So that type of interconnectedness really highlights for us in this energy of Pisces. So one of the things just straight out the gate that you want to be careful of this month is being aware of, becoming very familiar with your own energy, taking time to ground into yourself so that you can start to recognize what your energy feels like, and being very clear when you are starting to function from energies that aren't your own. It makes a huge difference in our life experience and also in understanding ourselves. And if you want more guidance with guided meditations, you can go to my website, The Energetic Alchemist. There are some free guided meditations that will help you and support you. But also, if you sign up for my newsletter, you get access to a free download. It's called 22 Days of Transformation, which will also teach you how to be engaged with yourself, to become an observer of yourself, which will also support you in being very aware of your own energy and how your energy is also influencing not only you, but the collective. So in this Pisces energy, we have that whole interconnectedness. A lot of people in this type of energy, there may be a heightened awareness of, what we consider our spirituality and really, merging with others and wanting to care for others or to help and heal others, but in ways that may not be really supportive of us. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you're not taking on the energy or the upset or sadness of other people as a way to help alleviate their pain. Instead, you want to manage and stay lifted in your own field and then help to support people in their own uplifting or transformation, whatever it may be. So you can learn more about that as well on my website. But we had Mercury go retrograde on the 5th, And as you, I'm sure, may know by now, when Mercury goes retrograde, there's this energy of confusion around communication. And it can also be introspective, but from a very, let's say, high lens, in a way that this can be supportive of us, is that when Mercury goes retrograde, oftentimes things come back around for our evaluation. And because it is going retrograde in Pisces, you may want to be really mindful of not just your communication and the way you're personally communicating things, but also making sure you are clear and understand what other people are trying to communicate and convey. And if people are having a hard time communicating their thoughts or emotions, have some patience and understanding. It's enough to already have us in this dreamy like energy, but then to have it retrograde as well, it may add to the unusual communication this month. So if we know that, we can be more mindful and giving ourselves an opportunity to make sure we are clear in our understanding. But it also gives us an opportunity to sometimes communicate differently. So if we have any ideas or emotions or whatever may be stirring for you, you may want to play around with trying to express your feeling or your thought in a creative way, maybe in an artistic way, doing things or communicating differently than maybe you would typically. That may give you some insight, some inspiration, open those creative channels, and all of this may support you in whatever you're trying to move forward with. Sometimes we have to think outside of the box, as we learned last month in the Aquarian energy. So Mercury going retrograde, I mean, we don't have to think of it as like this terrible thing if we are being mindful and understand that things may be a little bit confused. But with that too, have patience. So that will be key. Have patience and even pay attention to your dreams. You know, this energy also connects us deeply with our dream state, which is just in a way like another state of consciousness. So this could be a good month to start a dream journal if you've never done that before. Pay attention. There may be messages or insights or even healing that takes place for you through your dream state. And the more you write things down as soon as you wake up, like don't get up, go to the bathroom, do things you may forget. As soon as you open your eyes, jot down whatever it is you remember without trying to interpret anything. Just write it down. And the more you do that, the more you will recall your dreams. So not only do you give yourself an opportunity to start to examine your dreams and try to understand the communication that comes through that state of consciousness, you're also, by default, really working on your third eye energy. So something to consider. Now, Mercury will be retrograde until March 28th. And then after the retrograde starts, the day after, we have the new moon in Pisces, which is today, the day that I'm actually recording this. So happy new moon in Pisces. Again, all of this Pisces energy. The sun is in Pisces, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, and now we have the moon also in Pisces. I mean, you can't get any more dreamlike or creative or wanting to connect than that. So be mindful of everything we already talked about, but in a new moon, we often focus on new energy, right? A new phase, a new cycle. So with this theme of Pisces, consider that. Are you going through a new phase of healing? Are you moving into a new phase of creative energy? Are you moving into a new phase, or do you want to nurture your connection with people or the collective differently? What type of new energy is stirring for you? What is it related to? And how will you direct or nurture what it is that is growing? That's also going to relate to another big event that happens this month. But with the new moon, a couple of things that do stand out because of Pisces for me is this energy of empaths, the energy of healers, the energy of our dreams and the energy of dreamers. So if you are paying attention to your dreams, or you are dreaming about what it is you want to create, really give some nurturing and attention to this, and consider, like, maybe there are people that you want to network with or connect with. Maybe you feel these new bursts of inspiration to get things done. It's the season for it. And why? We're moving into spring. So on March 20th, we have a lot going on. Now, from a stance of numerology, we have March, which is the third month of the year. We have the 20th, which reduces to the number 2, and then we're in 2019, which also is a 3-year. So if you add the 3, the 2, and the 3, we get the number 8. 8 is all about balance, of harmony. It reminds me of as above, so below. It's also related to power and ambition. But the flow, okay, let's look at the flow and the balance and what else is happening on this day. First of all, the sun is going to move out of Pisces and into Aries. So where we're moving out of this dream state of, like, connecting to, maybe our passion, what inspires us, what we're feeling. Now the sun is moving into Aries, where it's like, okay, let's take that energy and put it into action. Let's now direct this energy out into the world. And it also may tie into how we are identifying ourselves, how you may be identifying yourself in the world through your career, work, your purpose, how you are looking at your identity, no matter which lens you're looking through. Aries energy speaks a lot to that. Who am I? How do I identify? And how am I leading or directing the energy of my life? So we have that sun moving into Aries, and we also have the full moon in Libra. Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. Now, Libra energy is all about balance and relationship, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to others. It can connect to the energy of beauty and aesthetic, but also justice. Now, so if you have this powerful Aries energy that can be leadership, it's ruled by the planet Mars, which is the warrior, right? So this is very strong energy, and it's being balanced out by this very feminine, passionate, loving energy even. We think of the rulership of Libra is Venus, the goddess of love. And you bring them together, and you bring together the goddess of love and the goddess of war. It makes me think of advocating, really paying attention to or pouring your energy into something you believe in, and maybe advocating for something that you believe in. So it could be in support of others, really lending your voice or your energy and your time to something that matters to you, that will help support bringing justice to the world, or to a particular cause, or, how you are advocating even for yourself, because we tend to oftentimes forget about ourselves in the big picture. So during this day, if that wasn't enough on our plates to think about, we also have the spring equinox. And it's interesting that the numerology of this day is 8, like I said, balance, because of that Libra energy. But also, the equinox is about renewal, right? And it's interesting because the 8 is infinite, but it goes through these 2 different loops that remind me of, again, as above, so below. And so it's like this continuum of energy. But every time we reach that one axis point, it's like we have an opportunity to renew our understanding, to expand our awareness. Even if it's something that we have gone through before, we may have thought of before, we may have experienced before, when it comes around again in that flow of the continuum, the next time around, we understand it from a higher lens, a higher frequency, and so we evolve. So in the spring equinox, even though it's about renewal, it doesn't necessarily mean brand new from scratch. It could also be renewal in the lens of our next level of understanding, our next level of progress, our next level of understanding, of awakening, however you want to think of it. It's like rejuvenation of energy or awareness. And when we think of spring, we think of things starting to bloom. The equinox is a day about like the day and night being equal in length, again, reflective in the number 8. But when we think about this energy of things coming into bloom, things coming back to life after winter, again, think about what you have been nurturing so far. Like, what have you been pouring your attention and your energy into over the last few months, maybe over the last year? Now is an opportunity to breathe new life into whatever that may be, or again, start something completely new. But 9 times out of 10, we're just redefining or uplifting or up-leveling something that we've already been going through. Which reminds me, again, at this time, we will still be in the retrograde, which again is a great time to reevaluate. So you may want to make some changes or consider how to, make things better as you are nurturing the growth of it in this season of spring. So yeah, there's a lot that is going on March 20th. But another thing about this day and the energy, I told you that the sun will be in Aries and the moon will be in Libra. And both of those signs are called cardinal signs, which means they are both related to like this initiating energy. So even though it's the full moon on this day, and we think of the full moon of being a cycle of completion, which is one way to look at it, I always also say to consider what you're full of on this day. If you're full of passion, if you're full of creativity, if you're full of ideas, use the energy of these 2 cardinal signs, the initiators, to initiate that energy in a way that will best support you, to direct that energy in a way that will best support you. And again, that Aries is looking at your leadership and how you are identifying yourself. The Libra energy is looking at how you are relating to yourself and others, and also, that balance in life. So with all of this initiating energy in the season of spring, I imagine that a lot of you are feeling some kind of inspired lately, and it would make a lot of sense. But also in this retrograde and all of the Pisces energy before we get to the equinox, you may be tired. And if you are tired, you really do want to check in and see if you are being, tired or up and down in your emotions, all of these things. You want to check in again to make sure that your empathic nature isn't just on overdrive, that you aren't losing yourself in connection to others to the point that you are reacting from and responding from the energies of everyone and everything around you. So this month again, ground. You can get the free meditations on my website. You also want to be mindful, be very clear with your thoughts and your intentions this month. Again, this dreamy Pisces energy, it'll serve you well to be patient and take time to really be in consideration of your own communication, as well as being clear on what others are trying to convey. You also want to, again, dream journal. If you haven't done that yet, that may be very supportive. And even play around with expressing yourself in new ways, maybe poetically, maybe artistically. And then paying attention to how you are initiating change and balance in your life and in your relationships, to yourself and to others. And then finally, what you've been nurturing and what is about to bloom. So I hope that you enjoy all of this beautiful energy in March. I would love to hear what your experiences are, what comes up for you. You may want to not rush into things, just observe, but know that this inspiration and inspired action, it's all unfolding, you know? Don't rush yourself. Your process is your own. And sometimes when we don't push too hard, like Aries can do, we don't want to ram against things or push things before they're, you know, time to be here. You know, it's kind of like picking a fruit before it ripens. This month, be mindful and allow things to continue to ripen. And before you know it, it will be time to pick and bite into these juicy creations that we're all swimming in. So that is it. If you think this information will support anyone that you know, please share. And don't forget to get your free downloads from my website, theenergeticalchemist.com. And be sure to tune into Reiki Radio this month. We have some more interesting guests. Last month, I interviewed 2 of my teachers. We also had a conversation with an author named Guy Finley. And the next episode will be with a woman named Raven Keys, who is the founder of Medical Reiki. And that is going to be a very interesting conversation. It will air on March 11th. And you can tune into that on iTunes under Reiki Radio or on YouTube if you want to watch us, the conversation we had. So that was a lot of fun. And she will be hosting a class for medical Reiki that is open to Reiki masters only. And that class will be in San Diego. So if you want to come and, you know, be in class with me, I am going to be there and I would love to meet you. And you can email me if you want more information about that. Okay, so that's it. Bye for now. Happy March, everyone.